Hi, my name is Dr. Davis. I'm a family doctor here in Edmonton, Alberta. Today, I just want to discuss with everyone the proper use of gloves during the pandemic to help prevent infections and also to avoid increasing your risk for infections. I see a lot of people wearing gloves. They might be going grocery shopping or coming to the clinic with gloves, and this can be helpful in certain circumstances, but if you use them the wrong way, you actually increase your risk of becoming infected with COVID-19. So the two things that we need to understand about gloves, first, that the glove is not a perfect barrier, so viruses and bacteria can go through the glove and onto your hands, so you do need to wash your hands or sanitize your hands if you've worn your gloves for a prolonged period of time. The second thing is that the bacteria and viruses actually survive longer on your glove surface versus your hand. So if you've kept your glove on for a prolonged period of time, you actually have a dirtier surface on the glove versus your bare hands. So the objective for wearing a glove is that we would touch a public surface that is assumed contaminated, so that we would not touch our own objects, okay, and cross-contaminate our own objects. But the problem is that I see a lot of people wearing gloves for a prolonged period of time. They go somewhere, for example, again, into a public space or coming into the clinic. They touch a public surface and then they take their phone and they're doing whatever with their own objects, and then now you've basically cross-contaminated everything and you're still equally at risk, if not higher risk, for giving yourself the virus. So for example, I would use the glove going to a gas station, touch a public surface like the gas pump, then after I'm done, immediately remove the glove, throw it away, and then get back into my car and assume that I have basically not picked up any viruses from the public surface. Now, if you go back in the car with your gloves and then start driving, now, well, you've basically used your glove to transmit the potential virus on the gas pump onto your steering wheel or your phone, whatnot. So you've completely defeated the purpose. For another example, if you're riding public transportation, you might use one hand to touch a handle so that you can hold on without contaminating your hand. But of course, you're not going to use that same gloved hand to use your phone or go through your wallet. You might consider keeping your other hand without a glove so that you remember which hand does which, and you can use your other hand to touch your own personal objects. So generally, we might assume most viruses can stay on our skin for about half an hour and on our glove for probably many hours. So this is not a scientific recommendation, but I would probably say if you're wearing gloves, you probably want to consider even changing them every half an hour. The thing is that I see a lot of grocery clerks are using gloves to do cashier work. I'm not really sure that's helpful because let's say there is a person who's got viruses or bacteria on a grocery item and they give it to the clerk then deals with it, and if the person was using his bare hands, well, we'd assume that the bacteria or the virus would be gone probably after about half an hour. But if the clerk is using a glove, the glove probably still has cross-contaminated viruses from hours and hours ago. So I actually think that these people are probably more likely to transmit viruses by using a glove. Okay, and then the worst possible thing is that if you're wearing a glove, you're still touching your own face. That would be absolutely horrible because then it defeats the purpose completely, because the glove is also meant to remind us to not touch our own face. So again, you're going to have more viruses on the surface of the glove, and then if you touch yourself, you're probably increasing your risk of infection. So again, I would recommend people to use the glove for very short periods of time, okay, just to touch a public surface, and if you're done touching that public surface, you should remove the glove, okay? And this is another thing. I don't like seeing people taking their gloves out like this, okay? Because again, you're getting your clean hand contaminated if you're touching the palm and finger part of the glove. You want to pinch the glove and remove it at the wrist, okay? So some other small things that people can do instead of wearing glove for touching public surfaces is, if, for example, if you just keep a pen with you in your pocket, to tap the buttons on a transaction machine or to touch elevator buttons. And a good thing would be to keep some alcohol swabs with you. Okay, so alcohol swabs, because sometimes we don't have access to hand sanitizer, so if you're touching a public surface with the pen and then you just have to sanitize your pen, you're all done with, as opposed to using a rather large amount of hand sanitizer for your hands if you had to touch it with the full surface area of your hand. So just a small thing, and even just instead of gloves, sometimes you can even just take extra tissues, paper with you, just to touch a surface for a very short period of time. Okay, so again, please use the gloves wisely. And don't throw them away onto the ground. We don't want to see littering. So thank you very much. I hope that was helpful. And please, share the video if you think other people can benefit. Thank you.